Hello and welcome to week 2 of the 27th session of the Conference of the Parties, COP27, currently being held at the resort town of Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. My name's Deniz Konuralp. I'm representing Mazars in Turkey. Mazars is an international audit and tax advisory firm that has representation over 90 countries and represents 44,000 professionals. We are hosting a series of video discussions to highlight the proceedings at the COP27 with a view to increasing awareness on climate action and sustainability generally. I'm delighted to be joined by Fazeela Gopalani, who heads up the ACCA's Middle East practice with overall responsibility for 11 countries and who represents over 20,000 students, affiliates and members across the region. Who work in all sectors and all businesses across the Middle East. Fazeela Gopalani is responsible for growing the understanding of the value that professionally qualified ACCA accountants bring to businesses and economies in the region. The reason we've invited her today, other than her brilliant lecturing and speaking abilities, is that she's recently launched a year-long initiative called Women in Finance in the Middle East. So I hope we'll spend the next 20 minutes with Fazeela giving us her views on the progress that has been made so far at COP27 with regards to promoting female finance professionals, gender equality and sustainability. Welcome, Fazeela.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now have the data to understand the vital link between gender, social equity and climate change. And we recognize that without gender equality today, a sustainable future and equal future remains out of reach. On International Women's Day, held earlier this year on the 8th of March 2022, the UN Women and the World Women came together under the theme of gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, and there has been a call for climate action for women by women. And yesterday at COP27, the most striking panels were COVID-19 and climate change, women at the center of planning response, women in climate change finance, women, the voice of women leaders in climate debates, policies, implementation and beyond. And you were at some of these panels. So could you please share your thoughts on gender equality in finance and accounting for a sustainable tomorrow? Do you think that finance and accountancy are the right professional choices and good career pathways for women?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me today on this really important discussion. The climate change agenda will redefine the world of business long term over the coming decades, and it's so important for us to understand the role that we women can play in this challenge. Work together to deliver. That was one of the mantras that came out of last year's COP26 that happened in Glasgow. And this immense task needs both women and men at the helm navigating this long road to net zero. Now, if we think about what happened last year in Glasgow, there was a launch of the Women's Leaders Summit, where we learned about the different opportunities women have in the net zero transition. And it is fantastic to see that yesterday and during this COP in Sharm el-Sheikh, what they have been doing there also in incorporating and getting women on board for such sessions. Now, there are green jobs, which are the roles that contribute to the preservation and the restoration of the environment. That could be both from traditional industries such as construction or from new emerging green sectors like renewable energy. And it's important that women are not left behind and are able to access such jobs. Net zero transition, sustainability, tackling climate change are all crucial subjects for accounting and finance professionals. Now, as a global body of professional accountants, we believe that the accounting profession has a vital role to play in driving positive change for the natural environment and society. And I will say this as a fellow member of ACCA and a professionally qualified accountant, that the finance function is at the heart of an organization. And professional accountants, we're in a unique position to make real, impactful change at the center for more socially just and environmentally sustainable economies. Now, whether that's from reporting on CO2 emissions to measuring social impact, the skills, judgment, and all-round data-informed view that professional accountants have means that we can make an invaluable contribution to this effort. And as for existing and future female accounting and finance professionals, I can say that the skills and expertise of women at all levels is crucial to tackle the climate change crisis. We represent almost half of the world's population. So it's important that we have a voice in climate-related decision-making to address specific needs and to achieve a gender-just net zero economy. The more female accounting and finance professionals we have that deal with climate change challenges, that harmonizing and implementing business reporting and measuring social impact, the more we're going to be able to accelerate the entire race to net zero. And as you know, these efforts directly relate to two of the UN SDGs, right? SDG 5 on gender equality and SDG 13 on climate change.
Yes, those two are often found in the reporting that we see in Turkey as well. Gender equality is very high on the list. As a female finance and business leader, do you think that the accountancy and finance profession is actually a profession for all?
So I have accounting and finance in my blood. My father was an ACCA member and a practicing accountant. I'm a professionally qualified business leader, and I've already informed both of my children, my son and daughter, that they don't have a choice. They have to continue this legacy of accounting and finance in our blood. But jokes apart, I mean, understanding this language of accounting and finance is imperative in this day and age to be successful in the world of work. So I do have a biased view on my answer to that question. And I believe that it's ever so important to have the knowledge of accounting and finance, to be financially literate. And that's not just for professional success, but also for our personal success, to be financially literate. But what I would like to see is more women entering the profession, but also rising up to senior levels of an organization. We see them entering, but we're not seeing them going up that corporate ladder. Now, if you think about it, accountancy, you know, back in the days was known as a boring, number crunching, introvert person who just sits in the room with their calculator. But that is changing now. That's not the role of the future accounting and finance professionals. And if you look at ACCA, we've got 59% of our students are females. And that's a big number. But what we need to see is the movement then with our membership base in the number of females to then moving into corporate jobs in corporate positions and going up that ladder. I mean, I do personally believe that professional accountants are vital to supporting economies so that they can grow and prosper in a sustainable way. And we know that the values and principles that professional accountants are guided by are ethics, integrity, and transparency. And that professional accountants have a depth and breadth of knowledge and experience of the inner workings and strategies of an organization. And that insight crosses borders and industries. I mean, anyone I meet in any walk of my life, I'm always telling them to become accountants, future accounting and finance professionals. So yes, I believe it's a great profession.
Well, I think you've made a very good case for it. I'm astonished to hear that 59% of the students are female. That's such an encouraging number. So tell me more about how ACCA ACCA achieves this. How does ACCA support equity, diversity and inclusion and ensure gender equality from within the organization itself?
Yeah. So throughout our 118-year history, ACCA provided opportunity to people of talent and application, regardless of your background, including those from underrepresented backgrounds that included gender, ethnicity, religion, socioeconomic, to enter into the accounting profession. Now, we believe that an equal society values the contributions of all, irrespective of any individual characteristics, and we stand for equality and progression without barrier or bias. I mean, even if you think about myself, my father was born and raised in Malawi, in Africa. And back in those days, you know, even when ACCA was born and in inception with our founder, Arthur Priddle, you couldn't enter the profession unless you were, you know, well-known, came from a good family. But ACCA gave anybody from any walk of life the opportunity to enter the profession. And I think that's what's phenomenal about our organization. I mean, diversity, inclusion, equity embrace a wide range of facets of our society. And to focus on one is to ignore the importance of the rest. And I think about this, we've got members and students in 178 countries of the world. If we pause and think about that, that just shows how globally diverse we are, how inclusive we are as an organization. ACCA was the first professional body to admit a woman, Ethel Purdy, into membership in 1909. No other body had a woman in 1909. We've had 4 women presidents, 2 female CEOs, Helen Brand being our current, 64% of our affiliates, 59% of our students, and about 58% of our foundation in accounting students are women. 47% of our membership are women, and we're aiming to get to 50% by 2030. 45% of the executives at ACCA are women. ACCA has 4 female executive directors on a group of 6. And from our membership, our council, 59% are women. Now, I know those people out there who are accountants love numbers, and so I've just given you loads of stats, but that should demonstrate the importance that gender equality is to ACCA.
I think, again, the numbers are remarkable and good to hear. Other companies and other associations, please take note, especially the fact that the ACCA was the first professional accountancy body to admit a woman. I think that's something to really be proud of. So all that having been said, women are still in the minority in boardrooms and within senior executive positions. I know that your speech just shows how passionate you are about addressing this. And you've recently launched a new initiative that focuses on specifically on women. So could you please give us some details about the initiative Women in Finance, and tell us about the reasons that you've chosen to promote this initiative?
I think so. The pandemic has shaken the world as we both know it, right? Personally and professionally. And many of us have had to sit down, reflect, rethink about our career aspirations and indeed our futures. And our roles and that of accountants in particular have become wider and more important than ever before. However, many of us who've climbed the ladder know how difficult it is to navigate the corporate ladder to senior leadership. It's a men's world. It's a boys' club. Yeah. And it's such a long and hard road. Now, and again, I'm going to come up with some stats, given that just 8% of chief executives globally are women. I mean, 8%, according to the latest Forbes report, right? Just 3% of the CEOs are in the financial services are women. And then let's talk about my region, the Middle East. Just 25% of the workforce is female, compared to a global average of 50%. And then if we look at board members, 8.9% of board members are female. Now, that is not just a gap in gender parity. I mean, that is a gulf, right? It's humongous. I'm still one of the very few women who lead a professional body in this region, and that shouldn't be the case. So having been in the finance field and the accounting and finance arena, I'm very passionate about an initiative that we've launched called Women in Finance. And our whole Women in Finance program is designed to help the next generation of female leaders navigate their way to the corporate ladder by talking about issues that really matter, learning from influential female leaders. So it's not an exclusive only for C-suite club. I don't agree with those C-suite clubs. This is open for all women in the Middle East to attend, to learn, to listen, and then to think about how they can take action to change themselves, or what is it that they're doing in their career to get up that corporate ladder. I mean, we have conversations that go from business leaders to HR specialists that come to learning and development, to recruitment agents that have come to talk about how and what we as women need to do to make ourselves successful. So over the course of the year, ACCA, the Middle East team, will be teaming up with successful business leaders from across the region, industries, job functions, and they will be bringing a wealth of information, knowledge, and learning. Some of these are done online. Some of them are face-to-face. We're launching them in different countries. It's something I'm extremely excited about, and the feedback to date has been phenomenal. So it's a great initiative.
Great. Well, I hope it's something we can all become a part of, maybe on LinkedIn or through
for sure.
the ACCA website. So my last question, as a very high-profile woman in a traditionally male-dominated industry, you're one of only a handful of women who lead professional bodies. What are the qualities and strengths that you believe are crucial for women today who want to achieve leadership roles? Could you share your thoughts and suggestions, maybe some personal thoughts on how women can progress their careers in finance?
I love this question because I really wish 18 years ago, 20 years ago, I'd had somebody who I could have just listened to in order to guide me through my career progression. First of all, I think it's crucial for women nowadays to be continually focusing on what it is that they want to be and where they want to go to in the next 5 years. And they need to take that time out to think about it. Where is it that I want to go? And I consistently do this, and I've learned that off mentors that I've had previously. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what we want to be is the best version of ourselves. Which that will lead to a more confident version of ourselves, one that employers will see potential in and are willing to give a chance to. So a couple of key things that I always think about and love to share is that always ensure that whatever you do, it's going to help you get towards your goals and dreams. Be focused, have and demonstrate consistency and discipline in everything that you do. Don't have a fixed mindset, have a growth mindset. Sometimes it's just really good to be silent, to observe, to read the room, to just be quiet. You don't have to be the one that's talking all the time. I think what's really key is to sit down and really think, how can I stretch myself? How can I think differently, think out of the box? How can I think big? Because that's what your employers and organizations need. They need innovation, they need creativity, they need us to be agile and flexible. Most of all, I wish somebody had told me this, that just believe in yourself and your capabilities, that imposter syndrome, that inner voice, that negative voice, just don't listen to it. And don't let others shape or define who you want to be. Don't be something that you're not. And I think that goes to the core of everything. If there was just one key takeaway that people would take away from this, I would say be authentic and genuine in everything you do. And lastly, have a purpose. Are you doing just a job? Or are you living and breathing what you want to do? And are you making a difference?
Well, on that note, thank you so much. Lots to think about there. I think that you are making a difference, and let's hope that our small video session will have inspired some of our viewers. Thank you, Fazeela. That was Fazeela Gopalani from the ACCA, joining us for Mazars Express. Thank you very much, and goodbye.